So what is it like to receive a reading and a healing from the canine spirit guides? Let me share with you what happened during one of my sessions recently with a young lady who scheduled herself because she had just lost a beloved dog and she was feeling a lot of grief and a little bit of guilt, and she also needed some clarity on her own spiritual path. So when I tapped into her energy, I instantly perceived a twin. I also picked up on some ancestral stagnant energy that was located in her abdomen around the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, and even up into the heart just a little bit. So when I got on the call with a client, I shared with her the information I had received from the canine guides. And what I discovered was that she did not have a twin, but apparently this twin energy was a vanishing twin. Because before she was born, and this ties into the ancestral pattern, before she was born, she had an older brother who also died before she was born. He only lived for 6 months. And when she was in the womb, this brother came to keep her company. And this story is all tied into the ancestral pattern that I was picking up on. Apparently, all the women in that mother line, on the mother's lineage, experienced uterine fibroids, so it made it very difficult for them to have children, and it also forced them into early menopause. So this ancestral pattern needed to be cleared so that she didn't have to carry it around anymore, and also so it didn't limit her on her own spiritual path. And all of this was going to be addressed from the canine spirit guide Anthea during our healing session. Anthea did a really incredible thing this day during this session. She typically will utilize a specific crystal called apophyllite, and she used this apophyllite, sending it into her abdomen, and it split into millions of pieces, and it went around and sponged up all of the ancestral energy that had created the dysfunction within the reproductive organs on this family line, on this mother line. And then she brought in an incredible stream of cosmic divine energy that kind of looked like a big fat arrow that came down into this client, into the abdomen area, and further grabbed on to this energy that needed to be removed and needed to be released, and she just yanked it out. This was a really powerful session for this client, and she also spent some time working around the heart and the throat area to help clear these blockages that were holding her back, keeping her from truly experiencing the joy that she is absolutely capable of and the self-love that she was lacking. And this really made an impact in the client. She could feel everything that was happening. She could see things even that I couldn't see. Very powerful experience for her. And this really catapulted her forward on her journey. And one thing that was shared with me during our session was that the dog that she had just lost had been carrying around this grief that she also felt for her brother that she'd never met. She felt some sort of grief for his loss, his death, that was probably passed on through the mother line as well. She had agreed to take on this grief for her mother, to carry it and to dissolve it for the family. And the dog that she had just lost, she had for 11 years. This dog had been carrying this burden for her while the dog was here, so that she could experience life without the burden. And then when he passed on, unfortunately, because of his void, she suddenly felt this burden back again. And this was part of her grief was in feeling the emotional burden that she hadn't felt for 11 years. And this fed into the grief for the dog as well. So this is what made her grief feel like it was so much more intolerable than she'd ever experienced before, and what prompted her to come and work with me so that all of this could be released. So the dog knew that she needed to work with me, and because of this, his timely exit was an opportunity for her to find her way to me. And she still has a dog in her life that is waiting to work with her. She's holding her space while she heals from the loss of the older dog. And the dog she has now that's waiting to work with her and is a much higher frequency, and she's got to evolve into that frequency so the dog can connect with her and work with her. So the dog is her second dog is kind of waiting on her. So that's really, really exciting, because she has a dog that's challenging her to elevate into a new frequency so that she can work with her. Really an extraordinary session that we had together. So this is an example of the types of things that can happen in a session with the canine spirit guides. Schedule your session today and see what we have come up for you. All right, love ya.